Hi, dear friend, you've found a quiet place to rest and dream. Tonight we'll journey into the ancient story written in starlight, the cosmic origins of life itself, and discover how every breath you take connects you to the beginning of everything. Let yourself settle now. Feel the weight of your body against the surface beneath you. Notice how your shoulders can soften, how your jaw can relax, how even your fingertips can let go of the day. There's nothing you need to do right. Nothing to solve, nothing to fix, nothing to remember. The universe has been unfolding for billions of years, and tonight it invites you simply to listen, to rest, and to drift. The story we're about to explore together is your story. It's written in the calcium of your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you're breathing right now. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are made of it. You are stardust, quite literally, and tonight we'll trace that beautiful, improbable journey from the hearts of ancient stars to this very moment as you rest here, safe and still. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out slowly. Let your eyes grow heavy if they wish. You don't need to stay awake for any of this. The story will continue whether you're listening closely or drifting into dreams. In fact, sleep is welcome here. Sleep is the natural place this story wants to take. Let's begin at the very beginning, in a time so ancient that numbers almost lose their meaning. 13.8 billion years ago, everything that exists, everything that ever was or ever will be, emerged from a single point smaller than the smallest thing you can imagine, a moment of pure potential, a cosmic seed, and then expansion, not an explosion into space, but the birth of space itself, time itself, reality itself, unfurling like a flower opening in the morning light. In those first fractions of a second, the universe was impossibly hot, impossibly dense, a sea of energy so intense that matter as we know it couldn't yet exist. But as the universe expanded, it cooled, and within that cooling, something extraordinary happened. Energy began to crystal into the first particles. Quarks and electrons emerged from pure light, and these particles, drawn together by forces we're still learning to understand, formed the first atoms. Hydrogen, the simplest element. One proton, one electron, the foundation of everything to come. And helium, just slightly more complex, with 2 protons, 2 neutrons, 2 electrons. For hundreds of thousands of years, the universe was filled with these 2 elements and almost nothing else. A cosmic fog, glowing and cooling, waiting. You can rest deeper now. Let your breathing find its own rhythm, natural and easy. The universe is patient. It knows how to wait. As the universe continued to expand and cool, that glowing fog began to clear. Atoms that had been too energized to hold together finally captured their electrons and became neutral. Light, which had been scattered endlessly by all those charged particles, was suddenly free to travel. The universe became transparent for the first time. If you could have been there, floating in that ancient cosmos, you would have witnessed the first dawn, a soft glow fading from orange to red to darkness as the universe stretched and cooled into night. But this darkness wasn't empty. Scattered throughout the expanding cosmos were tiny irregularities, small differences in density, regions where just a little more hydrogen and helium had gathered, and gravity, that gentle but persistent force, began to pull these regions together. Slowly at first, clouds of hydrogen began to collapse under their own weight, growing denser and denser, warming as they fell inward. Vast clouds of gas, invisible in the darkness, drawing together across millions of years. No rush, no urgency, just the quiet mathematics of gravity, pulling, gathering, concentrate. And as these clouds grew denser, they grew warmer. Pressure built in their atoms pressed closer and closer together until something miraculous happened. The first stars ignited. Deep in the hearts of these collapsing clouds, hydrogen atoms were pressed so tightly together, moving so fast in the intense heat, that they began to fuse. Two hydrogen atoms became one helium atom, and in that transformation, energy was released. Light, heat. The first stars lit up the darkness of the young universe, and the cosmos, which had been black for hundreds of millions of years, began to glow again. These first stars were not like our sun. They were giants, massive and brilliant, burning with fierce intensity. They lived fast and died young. But in their brief lives, they did something that would make all future life possible. They created new elements. You see, the early universe had only hydrogen and helium, but life as we know it needs more than that. Life needs carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. It needs phosphorus and sulfur. It needs iron and calcium and all the other elements that make up your body, that allow you to think and breathe and dream. And those elements didn't exist yet. They had to be created, forged in the hearts of stars. Let your body relax more deeply now. Feel how your breath flows in and out, easy and natural. You're safe here. The story is unfolding just as it should. Inside those first massive stars, fusion didn't stop with helium. The cores grew hotter and denser, and helium atoms began to fuse together, creating carbon. Carbon fused to create oxygen. Oxygen fused to create neon, then magnesium, then silicon. Each fusion released energy, allowing the star to shine, but each step also required more heat, more pressure. The star built up layers like an onion, with different elements fusing in different shells around the core. And at the very center, the ultimate fusion was taking place. Silicon atoms fused to create iron. But iron is special. Iron is where the process stops, because fusing iron doesn't release energy. It takes energy. A star can fuse hydrogen for millions of years, but once its core fills with iron, the end comes quickly. Without the outward pressure from fusion to balance gravity's inward pull, the core collapses. In less than a second, a core the size of Earth compresses to a ball only a few miles across. The outer layers of the star, suddenly unsupported, fall inward and then rebound in a catastrophic explosion, a supernova. For a few brief weeks, a single dying star can shine as brightly as an entire galaxy. And in that moment of destruction, in those conditions of unimaginable heat and pressure, all the heavier elements are created: gold and silver, copper and zinc, uranium and plutonium. Every element heavier than iron is forged in the fires of a supernova and scattered across space in vast, expanding clouds of enriched gas. The first stars died so that you could live. They sacrificed themselves, in a sense, seeding the cosmos with the ingredients for planets, for oceans, for life. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Let the darkness behind your eyelids remind you of that ancient cosmic night, and let the warmth you feel remind you of those first stellar fires. You are connected to this story. You are part of it. Those clouds of enriched gas, ejected by dying stars, drifted through space for millions of years. They mixed with the primordial hydrogen and helium, creating a cosmic recipe that was now far richer, far more complex. And wherever these clouds grew dense enough, wherever gravity gathered them together, new stars formed. Second-generation stars, third-generation stars, each one incorporating the ashes of its predecessors. Our sun is one of these later generation stars. When it formed about 4.6 billion years ago, it wasn't alone. Around it swirled a disk of gas and dust, the leftovers from the cloud that gave birth to our. And within that disk, tiny grains of dust began to stick together, microscopic at first, then pebbles, then boulders, then planetesimals, small worlds growing by slow accumulation and violent collision. The inner solar system was a chaotic place in those early days. Protoplanets crashed into each other, merged, shattered, reformed. It was violent, yes. From that chaos, 4 rocky worlds emerged: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Each one a sphere of molten rock, cooling slowly under a young sun. Earth was a hellish place at first. Its surface was an ocean of liquid rock, glowing red and orange, releasing heat into space. There was no water, no atmosphere as we know it, no possibility of life. But Earth had something special. It had retained some of the volatile compounds from the original solar nebula. And as the planet cooled, these compounds began to emerge: water vapor, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia. The first atmosphere formed, thick and poisonous by our standards, but pregnant with possibility. And then, about 4.5 billion years ago, something dramatic happened. A Mars-sized protoplanet, sometimes called Theia, collided with the young Earth. The impact was so powerful that it melted both worlds, splashing enormous amounts of debris into orbit. That debris coalesced to form the moon, which still circles us tonight, perhaps shining softly through your window as you rest. Let yourself feel held by this. Let it wrap around you. There's no need to remember every detail. Just let the words wash over you like gentle waves. The collision with Theia may have been catastrophic, but it also may have been essential. The impact likely brought additional volatile compounds to Earth's surface, including more water. It tilted Earth's axis, giving us seasons. It created the moon, whose gravitational pull would stabilize Earth's climate over billions of years and create the tides that would later shape the evolution of life. As Earth cooled from this cataclysmic impact, its surface solidified into a thin crust floating on an ocean of magma. Water vapor in the atmosphere began to condense. For thousands of years, perhaps longer, it rained. Not gentle rain, but a deluge, as the sky emptied itself onto the cooling rock below. The first oceans formed, shallow at first, then deeper, covering much of the young planet. And somewhere in those ancient oceans, in some warm tidal pool or deep-sea hydrothermal vent or shallow sunlit lagoon, chemistry became biochemistry. Non-life became life. We don't know exactly how it happened. It remains one of the deepest mysteries in science and one of the most beautiful. But we do know that the ingredients were there. The water, the organic molecules, the energy from the sun or from volcanic vents, the mineral surfaces that could catalyze reactions. And we know that given enough time, enough chances, enough combinations, something extraordinary emerged. Perhaps it began with simple molecules that could copy themselves. Perhaps it started with bubbles of lipids that could trap other molecules inside, creating the first cell-like structures. Perhaps it was RNA, that versatile molecule that can both store information and catalyze reactions, serving as both library and worker in the chemistry of early life. However it happened, by about 3.8 billion years ago, Earth was inhabited. The first living things were simple, single-celled organisms, probably similar to bacteria. They didn't have nuclei or complex structures. They were just tiny bags of chemistry, but chemistry that could reproduce itself, that could respond to its environment, that could evolve. And they were made of stardust. Every atom in those first cells had been forged in the heart of a star billions of years earlier. The carbon in their organic molecules came from ancient stellar fusion. The oxygen in their water had been created in dying stars and scattered across space. The iron in their enzymes, the phosphorus in their membranes, the nitrogen in their genetic material, all of it, every atom, was a gift from the cosmos. You are made of the same atoms. The calcium in your bones was created in a supernova explosion billions of years ago. The iron in your blood, which carries oxygen to every cell in your body, was forged in the collapsing core of a dying star. You are quite literally made of stardust, and tonight, as you rest, you return some of that stardust to the quiet darkness, to dream. Let your muscles relax completely now. Let your breathing slow. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. The story continues, gentle and patient. Those first simple cells lived in a world very different from ours. The atmosphere had almost no oxygen. The sun was dimmer. The days were short because Earth was spinning faster. The moon was closer, looming larger in the sky. It was an alien world, and yet it was home. It was where life took root and began its long, patient journey toward. For billions of years, life remained simple. Single-celled organisms dominated the planet, living in the oceans, possibly in hot springs, adapting to every niche they could. They evolved slowly, developing new ways to harness energy, new strategies for survival. Some learned to use chemicals from hydrothermal vents. Others discovered how to capture energy from the sun. About 2.7 billion years ago, some of these early organisms developed something revolutionary: photosynthesis, the ability to use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create sugars, and as a waste product, oxygen. This was a game changer. These photosynthetic bacteria began pumping oxygen into the oceans and atmosphere, slowly but steadily, over hundreds of millions of years. At first, the oxygen didn't accumulate. It reacted with iron dissolved in the oceans, creating rust that settled to the seafloor in distinctive layers called banded iron formations. You can see these formations today in ancient rocks around the world, beautiful stripes of red and gray, a record of that slow oxygenation written in stone. But eventually, about 2.4 billion years ago, the oceans were saturated. There was no more dissolved iron to rust. The oxygen began to accumulate in the atmosphere. This was likely catastrophic for many organisms. Oxygen is reactive and toxic to life forms that haven't evolved to handle it. There may have been a mass extinction, a great dying of organisms adapted to an oxygen-free world. But crisis breeds opportunity. Some organisms evolved to not just tolerate oxygen, but to use it. Aerobic respiration, the process that powers your body right now, extracts far more energy from food molecules than any previous method. Life that could breathe oxygen had an enormous advantage. And then, about 2 billion years ago, something even more remarkable happened. One cell engulfed another, but instead of digesting it, the two formed a partnership. The smaller cell, a bacterium that could use oxygen efficiently, began living inside the larger cell, providing it with energy. Over millions of years, this partnership became permanent. The engulfed bacterium evolved into mitochondria, the power plants that exist in almost every cell in your body today. You have ancient bacteria living inside you, billions of them, in every cell. They have their own DNA separate from yours because they descend from free-living organisms that made a bargain with your ancestors 2 billion years ago. You are not one organism. You are a community, a cooperation, a partnership between different lineages of life that have been working together for eons. Let that thought settle gently. You are a collaboration written across billions of years. You are an ecosystem, a community, a symphony of life playing in harmony. For another billion years or so, life continued to evolve and diversify, but it remained mostly microscopic. The oceans were full of single-celled organisms, some photosynthetic, some not, some solitary, some forming colonies and mats. The land was barren, just rock and dust, and the occasional pool of water. But in the oceans, complexity was building. About 600 million years ago, something shifted. Multicellular life, which had existed in simple forms for some time, suddenly exploded in diversity. The Cambrian explosion, scientists call it, though it unfolded over tens of millions of years. Suddenly, the fossil record shows a riot of new body plans, new strategies for living, animals with shells, with segments, with legs, with eyes. Why then? We're not entirely sure. Perhaps oxygen levels had finally reached a threshold where large, complex bodies were built. Perhaps predation drove an evolutionary arms race, with prey developing armor and predators developing new ways to break through it. Perhaps it was the evolution of eyes, which suddenly made it advantageous to have complex behaviors and nervous systems. Whatever the cause, life was now visible. It had color and shape and movement. It crawled and swam and burrowed, and all of it was still made of stardust, still built from the elements forged in ancient stellar fires. The story of life from that point forward is one of exploration and adaptation. Life moved onto land, first plants, then insects, then vertebrates. It survived multiple mass extinctions, each one devastating, each one followed by recovery and innovation. Dinosaurs rose and fell, mammals diversified, birds took to the air, and through it all, the same elements cycled and recycled, borrowed and returned, passed from organism to organism, from ecosystem to ecosystem. The carbon in your body may once have been part of a dinosaur, a fern in a carboniferous swamp, a microbe in an ancient ocean, a molecule of carbon dioxide in a volcanic plume, a star's fusion fire. It has cycled through the biosphere countless times, taking different forms, serving different purposes, but always the same atoms. Let yourself drift now. Let the images flow through your mind like summer sky. Hold on to any of it. Just let it be there, soft and distant. About 7 million years ago in the forests of Africa, a lineage of primates began walking upright more regularly. Over millions of years, they evolved larger brains, more dexterous hands, more complex social behaviors. They learned to use tools, to control fire, to communicate with increasing sophistication. About 300,000 years ago, our own species, Homo sapiens, emerged. We are newcomers, truly. If the history of the universe were compressed into a single year, with the Big Bang on January 1st, our species would appear in the last few minutes before midnight on December 31st. We have been here for the blink of an eye, cosmically speaking, and yet we are the universe becoming aware of itself. We are stardust contemplating stardust. You, lying here tonight, are billions of years of cosmic and biological evolution folded into this present moment. You carry the history of the universe in your atoms, the history of Earth in your cells, the history of your species in your genes, and your own unique history in your memories and experiences. Every element in your body has a story. The hydrogen in your water is as old as the Big Bang itself, formed in those first 3 minutes when the universe was young and hot. The carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen that make up most of your organic molecules were forged in stars that lived and died before our sun was born. The calcium in your bones and teeth was created in supernova explosions. The iron in your blood was formed in the cores of matter. Even the rarer elements have their stories. The iodine in your thyroid came from supernovae. The cobalt in your vitamin B12 was created in dying stars. The molybdenum in your enzymes, the selenium in your antioxidants, the zinc in your immune system, all of it has journeyed across space and time to be part of you now. And it won't end with you. When you die, eventually, far in the future, your atoms will return to the Earth. They'll be taken up by other organisms, recycled through ecosystems, perhaps eventually returned to space through volcanic activity or asteroid impacts. The stardust that is you right now is just borrowing this form temporarily. It has been many things before, and it will be many things again. This isn't sad, it's beautiful. It means you're connected to everything. You're part of an unbroken chain that stretches back to the beginning of time and forward into an unimaginable future. You're not separate from nature. You are nature. You're not separate from the cosmos. You are the breathe. Feel the oxygen entering your lungs, the same oxygen that ancient cyanobacteria pumped into the atmosphere billions of years ago. Feel your heart beating, powered by mitochondria that descend from bacteria that learned to use that oxygen. Feel your thoughts drifting, generated by a brain that complex structure we know of in the universe. Let's think about water for a moment, that simple molecule that makes up about 60% of your water is ancient. Some of the water on Earth, perhaps much of it, predates the sun. It formed in the cold molecular clouds of the interstellar medium, where hydrogen and oxygen atoms found each other in the darkness and bonded together. When the solar system formed, that water was incorporated into comets and asteroids. As Earth coalesced from the protoplanetary disk, some water was locked into its rocks. After the great impact that formed the moon, as Earth cooled, that water was released. And comets, icy wanderers from the outer solar system, rained down on the young planet, bringing more water with them. The water you drank today, the water that flows in your blood, that fills your cells, is the same water that has cycled through the Earth system for billions of years. It has been ocean and cloud and rain and river and groundwater and ice. It has been inside countless organisms before. It has fallen as rain on dinosaurs, evaporated from primordial seas, been split apart and recombined by photosynthesis and respiration. Some of that water may have come from interstellar space. Some of it may have been created on Earth from hydrogen and oxygen. But all of it is connected to you now, keeping you alive, keeping you soft and flowing, keeping you connected to the great cycles of the planet. As you rest, you can imagine yourself as part of that cycle. You're not a separate thing, isolated and alone. You're a pattern that water and other elements flow through. You're a wave in an ocean that has been flowing for billions of years. When you breathe out, you release water vapor that will join the atmosphere, become part of a cloud, fall as rain, flow through a river, nourish a plant, be drunk by another person. The boundaries between you and the world are more fluid than they seem. Let that thought comfort you. You're held by something larger than yourself, something ancient and patient and ongoing. You don't have to carry everything. You're part of a system that knows how to sustain itself, that has survived ice ages and asteroid impacts and mass extinctions, and that will continue long after you're gone. The nitrogen in your DNA and proteins has its own journey. Nitrogen is common in the universe, but most of it exists as N2. Two nitrogen atoms bonded so tightly together that they're chemically inert. The air you're breathing right now is about 78% nitrogen, but you can't use it directly. That strong triple bond needs to be broken before nitrogen can be incorporated into biological. In nature, this happens a few ways. Lightning can break those, creating nitrogen oxides that dissolve in rain and fertilize the soil. Certain bacteria in soil and in root nodules of legumes have evolved enzymes that can break that triple bond, fixing nitrogen into forms that plants can use. And all of this ultimately comes from stars, where nitrogen was forged from carbon and helium through nuclear fusion. The nitrogen in your amino acids, in your genetic code, in your neurotransmitters has passed through stars and soil and countless organisms to become part of you. It's been part of other people, other animals, plants, bacteria. It's cycled through the biosphere again and again, always necessary, always reused, always precious. Phosphorus has a different story. Unlike carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, phosphorus isn't created in normal stellar fusion. It's created in supernovae, in those last moments of massive stars' life. That makes it relatively rare. And unlike nitrogen, it doesn't cycle through the atmosphere. Phosphorus cycles slowly, through the weathering of rocks, through soil, through organisms, through sediments accumulating on the ocean floor, through geological processes that eventually lift those sediments up as mountains, starting the cycle again. The phosphorus in your ATP, the energy currency of your cells, in your DNA, in your cell membranes, is precious. It has been through a long, slow cycle, and there's a limited amount of it on Earth. Every organism needs it. Every cell requires it. It's one of the bottlenecks that limits life. And yet, you have enough. Your body knows how to find it, how to use it, how to recycle it internally. You're a master of chemistry, though you never think about it. Your body performs millions of chemical reactions every second, all choreographed with exquisite precision, all using elements that came from stars. Sulfur, another element essential for life, was also made in stars, in the later stages of fusion before a star goes supernova. It's in your proteins, especially in the bonds that give them their three-dimensional shapes. It's in some of your vitamins and coenzymes, and it cycles through the Earth system in complex ways, sometimes as sulfate in seawater, sometimes as hydrogen sulfide from volcanic vents or from bacteria, sometimes locked in rocks, sometimes in the atmosphere. All of these elements, all of these atoms, are working together right now to keep you alive, to allow you to think and feel and dream. They're not just inert building blocks. They're participating in the process of your life, enabling it, making it possible. And they've been doing this for billions of years in different forms, in different organisms, but always dancing, always flowing, always part of the great cycle. Let your body relax even more deeply. Let the weight of your limbs sink down. Let your thoughts become softer, more dreamlike. The story is here to hold you, to cradle you in. There is something profoundly humbling about understanding that you're made of stardust, but there's also something empowering about it. It means you're connected to the largest scales of space and time. It means your origins are cosmic. It means you're part of a story that's still being written, a story that includes supernovae and planets, oceans and atmospheres, the first cell and every organism that came after. You're not an accident. Well, in one sense you are, the product of uncounted contingencies and chances. But in another sense, you're inevitable. Given a universe with the laws of physics we have, given stars that forge elements, given planets where those elements can come together, given liquid water and energy sources, and time, complexity seems to emerge. Life seems to arise. And once it does, it explores, it adapts, it becomes more complex. You are the universe exploring itself. You are matter organized in such a way that it can ponder its own existence. That's extraordinary. That's miraculous, even if it's also natural. even if it emerged through understandable physical processes. And you're not alone in this. Every person you've ever met, every animal you've ever seen, every plant in every garden, every bacterium in your gut, all of it is stardust too. All of it shares this cosmic origin. We're all family in the deepest possible sense. We're all made of the same stuff, shaped by the same processes, inheritors of the same ancient history. The conflicts and divisions that seem so important in our daily lives, they're real. They matter, but they're also temporary and small compared to this larger truth. We're all riding on this blue world through space together, all made of recycled star matter, all briefly alive in a universe that is mostly empty and dark. That shared origin, that common story, it connects us in ways we don't always remember. But it's there, always, in every atom of your being. You are related to everything. You are akin to the stars. As you drift towards sleep, you might imagine yourself dissolving gently into the cosmos, not dying, just expanding. The boundaries between you and the universe softening. You can feel yourself as part of the great flow of matter and energy, temporarily gathered into this form we call you, but fundamentally part of something vast and ancient and ongoing. Your consciousness, whatever it is, emerges from the organized complexity of your brain, which is made of stardust, arranged in an intricate pattern. When you dream, stardust is dreaming. When you love, stardust is loving. When you rest, as you are now, stardust is resting. There is a kind of poetry to it, isn't there? The universe spent billions of years creating you, first forging the elements, then gathering them into a planet, then arranging them into living cells, then evolving those cells into multicellular organisms, then guiding that evolution through countless generations until, finally, here you are, conscious, aware, able to contemplate your own origins and marvel at the improbability of. And yet, here you are, against all odds, through all the contingencies of history, through the survival of your ancestors and the luck of your birth. Here you are, breathing, thinking, feeling, alive. That's worth celebrating, even quietly, even as you settle into rest. You are a success story, billions of years in the making. You are the universe's way of experiencing itself. You are stardust that has learned to wonder. The elements that make you will outlast you. Long after your consciousness has faded, long after your body has returned to the earth, those atoms will continue their journey. They'll become part of soil, part of plants, part of other animals, part of the great ongoing cycle. In a sense, you'll live on, scattered and transformed, but still present, still part of the dance. And that's okay. That's how it should be. Nothing lasts forever in its current form, but everything persists in some way. The atoms that are you now have been around for billions of years and will be around for billions more. You're borrowing them for a little while, using them to have this experience we call life, and then you'll return them, pass them on, let them continue their journey. There's a generosity in that cycle, a kind of cosmic sharing. You receive from those who came before, you use what you're given to live your life, and then you give it back so others can live theirs. It's a gift economy on the grandest scale, with gifts that have been circulating since the first stars died and scattered their contents across space. Let yourself feel grateful if that feeling arises. Grateful for the stars that died so you could live. Grateful for the planet that nurtured the evolution of life. Grateful for the long chain of ancestors, both human and pre-human, that survived long enough to give rise to you. Grateful for this moment right now, when you can rest and reflect and simply be. But if gratitude doesn't arise, that's okay too. Just rest, just breathe. Just let yourself be held by the darkness and the quiet. The story of the cosmic origins of life is also the story of home. Earth is not just a random rock floating in space. It's the place where the universe became alive, at least in this little corner of the cosmos. It's where stardust learned to metabolize and reproduce and evolve, and eventually to think. Earth is special, not because it's the center of anything, but because it's rare. As far as we know, it's the only place where life exists, though we suspect there may be others out there in the vastness of space. But even if life is common in the universe, each living world is precious, each one a place where matter has achieved something extraordinary, and Earth is your home. It's where your species evolved, where every ancestor you have ever had lived and died, where all the people you love are right now. It's the thin film of water and air and life clinging to the surface of a rocky planet, orbiting a middle age in a quiet suburban arm of a spiral galaxy. It's easy to forget how special that is. It's easy to take it for granted, this atmosphere that you can breathe, this gravity that holds you, this sun that warms you, this ecosystem that feeds you. But none of it was inevitable. All of it required specific conditions, specific sequences of events, specific pieces of luck. Earth is at the right distance from the sun, neither too hot nor too cold. It's massive enough to hold an atmosphere, but not so massive that the atmosphere is crushing. It has a large moon that stabilizes its axis and creates tides. It has plate tectonics that recycle nutrients and regulate the climate over long timescales. It has a magnetic field that shields life from harmful radiation. It has liquid water, that essential solvent where life can emerge and thrive. All of these things had to come together. All of these conditions had to be met, and they were. And here you are, a product of that improbable sequence, resting now under a sky that contains more stars than you could count in a lifetime. We've discovered thousands of them in recent decades, orbiting distant suns. Some are hot Jupiters, gas giants circling close to their stars. Some are super-Earths, rocky worlds larger than our own. Some are in the habitable zone, where liquid water could exist on the surface. Do any of them have life? We don't know yet. We're looking. We're listening. We're beginning to study the atmospheres of exoplanets, searching for the chemical signatures that might indicate biological processes. It's one of the great questions of our time. Are we alone? But whether we're alone or not, you're here. Life is here on this world right now. And that's what matters in this moment. You're part of it. You're one of the ways the universe has organized itself to experience existence. Let that be enough. Let it be more than enough. Let it fill you with a quiet sense of wonder as you drift toward dreams. The boundary between life and non-life is not as sharp as we sometimes think. Viruses blur the line, neither fully alive nor entirely inert. Prions, misfolded proteins that can reproduce their shape, challenge our definitions. Even fire, in a sense, metabolizes, grows, reproduces, and dies, though we don't call it alive. Life is perhaps best understood as a process rather than a thing. It's what happens when matter is organized in certain ways, when it can harness energy and information to maintain and reproduce its own structure. It's a pattern that persists, even as the specific atoms that make it up are constantly being exchanged. You are not the same atoms you were 7 years ago. Every cell in your body has been replaced, some many times over. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your DNA, they're not the same atoms you were born with. You've taken in new matter through food and drink and breath, and you've expelled old matter through waste and sweat and exhalation. And yet, you're still you. The pattern persists. The information encoded in your genes and your memories and your personality continues, even as the physical substrate is constantly renewed. You're like a river, constantly flowing, constantly changing, yet recognizably the same river, or like a flame sustained by fuel, always transforming matter into energy and light, but maintaining its form as long as the conditions are. You are a process, a pattern, a story that matter is telling for a little while, and the matter that's telling your story right now, the atoms that make up your body in this moment, they've told countless stories before. They've been part of rocks and oceans, plants and animals, maybe even other people. They've been cycled through the Earth system again and again, always participating, always essential, always part of the dance. When you breathe in, you're taking in atoms that have been breathed by every person who ever lived. The air is thoroughly mixed on timescales of years, so every breath you take contains atoms that were once breathed by ancient philosophers, by artists and scientists, by people who lived thousands of years ago on distant continents. You're connected to them through this invisible web of shared atmosphere. When you drink water, you're drinking molecules that dinosaurs drank, that fell as rain on prehistoric forests, that flowed in rivers that no longer exist. The water cycle connects you to all of Earth's history, to every organism that ever needed water to survive. When you eat, you're taking in atoms that were recently part of plants or animals, that were part of the soil before that were part of something else before. The food chain is really a nutrient cycle, and you're one node in that vast network, receiving and giving, always in flux, always connected. Let your breathing deepen and slow. Let each breath remind you of this connection, this participation in something so much larger than yourself. You don't have to do anything but rest. The cycles will continue. The universe knows how to unfold. There's something deeply restful about this perspective, isn't there? It takes the pressure off. You don't have to be everything or do everything or understand everything. You're just one small part of a vast system that has been functioning for billions of years and will continue long after you're gone. You can relax into that. You can let yourself be held by it. The atoms that make you are ancient beyond comprehension, and they will be here long after your brief moment of consciousness has passed. That's not frightening. That's freeing. It means you're part of something eternal, even though your individual existence is temporary. Your awareness, your consciousness, the sense you have of being you, that's temporary. It emerges from the specific way your brain is organized right. And when that organization dissolves, your consciousness will dissolve with it. But the matter that makes you, the stardust that composes you, that's permanent, at least on human timescales. It will persist and continue, taking new forms, participating in new stories. In a sense, the universe is immortal through its atoms. Individual forms come and go, stars and planets and organisms, but the matter itself persists, transforms, continues. You are the universe experiencing a brief moment of self, and then the moment passes, and the universe moves on to other forms, other experiences. That's okay. That's how it should be. Nothing is lost, really. Everything is just transformed, recycled, renewed. The stardust that is you will become part of something else, contribute to some other pattern, some other story. You're giving a gift to the future by existing now and eventually returning your atoms to the cycle. Close your eyes and let yourself in, very gently, the long view. See yourself as part of a chain stretching back through time. See the organisms you descended from, your parents and grandparents, your ancient ancestors who were apes, who were small mammals, who were reptiles, who were fish, who were worms, who were single cells. See the long, patient process of evolution that led to you, and see yourself as part of a chain stretching forward through time too. Not necessarily your genetic descendants, if you have any, but the atoms that make you now, becoming part of other things, other organisms, other patterns. See yourself dissolving gently back into the earth, becoming soil, becoming nutrients, becoming part of plants and animals, and the great ongoing flow. The iron in your blood tells a particularly intimate story about your connection to the cosmos. Right now, as you rest here, your heart is pumping blood through your body, and that blood is red because of iron. Specifically, iron atoms at the center of hemoglobin molecules, each one capable of temporarily binding to oxygen and carrying it from your lungs to every cell that needs it. That iron was created in the final moments of a massive star's life, in the collapsing core just before a supernova explosion. It was forged under conditions of unimaginable pressure and temperature, and then scattered across space in a violent burst of light and energy. It drifted through the interstellar medium for millions of years, eventually becoming part of the molecular cloud that would give birth to our solar system. When Earth formed, some of that iron sank to the core, creating the molten metal heart of our planet that generates the magnetic field, protecting us from harmful radiation. But some remained near the surface, in rocks and soil, slowly weathering and dissolving, making its way into the ocean, into the bodies of early organisms, and eventually into you. Every breath you take depends on iron that was created in a dying star. Every thought you think requires oxygen delivered by iron. Every movement you make is powered by cells that receive their oxygen through iron. You are kept alive moment by moment by atoms forged in stellar fire billions of years ago. Let that sink in gently as you rest. There's no need to fully comprehend it. Just let it be there, a quiet truth humming beneath your awareness. You are more connected to the stars than you ever imagined. And it's not just iron. The calcium in your bones, the structure that holds you up and protects your organs, was also made in stars. Calcium is created through silicon fusion in the shells of massive stars. in those last stages before collapse. Like iron, it was scattered by supernovae, gathered into new solar systems, incorporated into rocky planets, and eventually taken up by living organisms. Your skeleton is made of stardust, the very framework of your body, the scaffolding that gives you shape, came from exploded stars. And throughout your life, that calcium is constantly being remodeled, broken down, and rebuilt, borrowed from your diet, and returned through various pathways. The calcium atoms in your bones right now aren't the same ones that were there last year. You're constantly refreshing yourself with stardust from your environment. Even your teeth, those hard structures that let you bite and chew and smile, are made primarily of calcium and phosphorus, both stellar products. They're the hardest part of your body, yet they too are made of atoms that have journeyed across space and time to be part of you for a while. As you lie here, you might become aware of your body in a new way, not just as flesh and bone, but as a temporary gathering of cosmic material. Your body is a meeting place for atoms that have been separated for billions of years, now brought together in this particular configuration that is you. They'll stay together for a while, participating in your life, enabling your experiences, and then they'll part ways again, moving on to other forms, other purposes. There's something both humbling and elevating about humbling because it reminds you how small and temporary you are in the cosmic scheme of things, but elevating because it reveals how intimately connected you are to the largest processes in the universe. You're not separate from the cosmos, observing it from outside. You are the cosmos, experiencing itself from within. The water in your body has its own ancient history. Some of it may predate the Earth itself, formed in the cold molecular clouds between stars. Water is surprisingly easy to make in space. Hydrogen, the most abundant element, can bond with oxygen itself created in stars, wherever conditions allow. In the frigid darkness between stars on the surfaces of dust grains, these simple molecules can form and accumulate. When our solar system was forming, water ice was incorporated into comets in the outer reaches, where it was cold enough for water to remain frozen. As the young Earth cooled after its violent formation, some of these comets were drawn inward by gravity, impacting the surface and delivering their cargo of ancient water. That water joined the water that had been locked in Earth's rocks, released through volcanic activity to form the first oceans. The water you drank today might have molecules that fell to Earth 4 billion years ago. It's been cycling through the planet ever since, evaporating from oceans, condensing into clouds, falling as rain, flowing through rivers, seeping through soil, being taken up by plants and animals, being released again, around and around in a great planetary circulation that has continued for eons. And every organism that has ever lived on Earth has used water. Dinosaurs drank it. Ancient fish swam in it. The first cells emerged in it. Every plant that ever grew needed it. Every animal that ever walked or flew or crawled required it. And now you have some of it in your body, temporarily borrowed from the global cycle. Your cells are mostly water. About 60% of your body weight is water, though the exact percentage varies depending on your age, gender, and body composition. But whatever the exact number, you're more water than anything else by volume. You're a walking, thinking, feeling portion of the ocean, held together by membranes and sustained by the chemistry that happens in aqueous solution. That's why you feel such affinity for water. Why the sound of rain is soothing. Why the ocean feels like home. Why a warm bath relaxes you. You're made of water. You came from water. You're part of the water cycle, just like every other living thing on Earth. Breathe deeply now and feel the moisture in your breath. Every time you exhale, you release water vapor into the air around you. That water will join the atmosphere, might become part of a cloud, might fall as rain somewhere far from here. It will continue its journey, and eventually some of it might be drunk by some part of their body for a while, might enable their life. You're sharing water with every other organism on the planet. The boundaries between you and the world are permeable, fluid. What's inside you now was outside you yesterday and will be outside you again tomorrow. You're not a separate thing. You're a process, a pattern, a temporary organization of matter that's constantly flowing through. This is true for all the elements in your body, not just water. The carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, all of them cycle through the environment and through organisms. You're made of recycled materials, hand-me-downs from countless previous organisms, all the way back to the first living things billions of years ago. Some of the carbon atoms in your body were once part of a dinosaur. Some of the nitrogen in your DNA was once in the atmosphere, fixed by bacteria, taken up by plants, eaten by animals, returned to the soil, taken up again. Some of the oxygen you're breathing was produced yesterday by a tree, which got its carbon dioxide from someone else's breath, which got it from burning glucose, which got it from food, which got it from photosynthesis, which got it from the air, around and around. You're part of a vast web of exchange, a planetary metabolism that includes all of life, and this web connects you not just to other organisms alive today, but to every organism that has ever lived. You're eating the same atoms, drinking the same water, breathing the same air, just taking your turn, just playing your part in the great cycle. Let yourself feel that connection. You're not alone. You never have been. You're held in a web of relationships that extends across space and time, connecting you to everything that lives, everything that has ever lived, and everything that will ever live. And even beyond Earth, you're connected. The atoms in your body came from space, from the hearts of stars, from molecular clouds, from the raw material of the universe itself. You're not just an earthling. You're a cosmic being made of stellar material, animated by the same forces that shape galaxies and ignite stars. As you rest here, you can imagine yourself dissolving into that larger reality. Not literally, of course, but in your awareness. Let the boundaries of your body soften. Let yourself feel the air around you as an extension of yourself. Let the bed beneath you be part of you. Let the room, the building, the city, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, all of it, let it all be part of you. Because in a sense, it is the distinctions we make between self and other, between inside and outside. They're useful for daily life, but they're ultimately arbitrary. There's no clear boundary between you and the world. You're made of the world. You're a temporary pattern in the flow of matter and energy that is the universe. and patterns come and go. They arise, persist for a while, and then dissolve back into the flow. A wave rises from the ocean, moves across the surface, and then subsides back into the water. The wave is real while it lasts, but it's not separate from the ocean. It's a temporary form the ocean takes. You're like that wave. You're a temporary form the universe is taking, a brief organization of matter into something that can think and feel and wonder. And like the wave, you'll eventually subside back into the larger flow. But while you're here, while you're manifest, you're real. You matter. Your experiences are valid. Your life has meaning, not because you'll last forever, but precisely because you won't. Temporary things can be precious. Fleeting moments can be beautiful. The fact that you're here at all, against all odds, through all the contingencies of history, that's remarkable. That's worth appreciating. So appreciate it now, gently, as you rest. Appreciate the miracle of your existence. Appreciate the improbable journey that brought you here. Appreciate the atoms that make you, the forces that organize you, the awareness that lets you contemplate all of this. And then let it go. Let the appreciation fade into simple being. Let the thought slow down and soften. Let your awareness rest in the present moment, not thinking about cosmic origins or stellar nucleosynthesis or the cycles of elements, just being here, breathing, existing, alive. This is what the universe does. It exists. It doesn't need to justify itself or explain itself or accomplish anything. It just is, and that's enough. And you're part of that. Right now, you're the universe being itself, experiencing itself, resting itself. So rest. Let the weight of significance fall away. Let the pressure to understand or remember or do anything fall away. Just be here in your body, made of stardust, held by gravity, surrounded by air, existing in this moment. Your body knows what to do. It's been doing this for billions of years in different forms, through different organisms, but always the same basic processes. Taking in matter and energy, organizing it, maintaining structure against the tide of entropy, reproducing information, adapting to change. Life is very good at this. Life has had a long time to practice. And you're the current expression of that ancient expertise. Your body is running processes refined over billions of years of evolution. Your metabolism, your immune system, your nervous system, all of it has been optimized through countless generations of trial and error. You're a living museum of evolutionary solutions, a walking archive of what has worked well enough to persist. And right now, your body is doing what it evolved to do at night. It's preparing for sleep, for rest, for the restoration and repair that happens when you're unconscious. Your temperature is dropping slightly, your heart rate is slowing, your brain waves are changing, shifting from the fast beta waves of active thinking to the slower alpha and theta waves of relaxation and drowsiness. Hormones are shifting too. Melatonin is rising, signaling to your body that it's time to sleep. Cortisol is dropping, reducing alertness. Growth hormone will rise during the night, supporting tissue repair. All of these processes are happening automatically, without your conscious control, guided by ancient rhythms older than our species. You can trust these rhythms. They've been keeping organisms alive and healthy for millions of years. They know what they're doing. You don't have to manage or control or direct anything. Just let your body do what it knows how to do. And if your mind is still active, it's okay too. Minds don't always settle down on command, but you can let your thoughts drift without engaging with them too much. Let them be like clouds passing across the sky. Interesting, perhaps, but not demanding your attention, not requiring any response. Thoughts are just electrochemical activity in your brain, patterns of neurons, communication between different regions. They feel important. They feel like they need to be addressed, but they don't. Not right now. Right now, they can just drift and eventually fade as your brain transitions into sleep. Sleep is a fascinating state when you think about it. You lose consciousness. Your awareness of the external world diminishes, and yet your brain remains active, sometimes even more active than when you're awake. Dreams arise, strange narratives and images generated by your sleeping brain, processing the day's experiences, consolidating memories, working through emotions in symbolic form. We still don't fully understand why we dream or what dreams mean, but we know they're important. People deprived of dream sleep show cognitive and emotional deficits. Dreams seem to be part of how the brain maintains itself, how it integrates new experiences with existing knowledge, how it regulates emotions and prepares for future challenges. So, when you dream tonight, know that your brain is working, taking care of you, maintaining the complex system that generates your consciousness. You don't have to remember your dreams or interpret them or do anything with them. Just let them happen. Let your brain do its nightly maintenance. Trust the process that has been refined over millions of years of mammalian evolution. And between dreams, there are periods of deeper sleep, stages where your brain waves slow down even further, where consciousness truly vanishes, where you exist but aren't aware of existing. These are the most restorative stages, when your body does its deepest repair work, when growth hormone is highest, when your immune system is most active. You need this deep sleep. Your body needs it. Your brain needs it. Your whole system needs it to function well. And it's trying to give it to you right now. All you have to do is stop resisting, stop trying to stay alert, let yourself sink into the darkness and the quiet. Imagine yourself sinking very gently through layers of awareness. First letting go of external sounds and sensations, then letting go of thoughts about the day, about the future, about anything that needs doing. Then letting go of your sense of the room around you, of time passing, of yourself as a separate entity. Just sinking softly through layers of letting go until there's nothing left to hold on to and you simply dissolve into sleep. The universe doesn't need you to be awake right now. The cycles will continue without your attention. The earth will keep turning. The stars will keep burning. The atoms in your body will keep vibrating and spinning and participating in the chemistry of life. Everything will take care of itself while you rest. And when you wake, whenever that is, you'll still be you. The same pattern roughly, though slightly changed, slightly renewed. Some atoms will have been exchanged during the night. Some cells will have died and been broken down. Some proteins will have been synthesized. Some memories will have been consolidated. You'll be the same you, but also slightly different, refreshed, restored, ready for another day of being the universe experiencing itself. But that's tomorrow. Tonight is for rest, for letting go, for trusting the ancient wisdom of your body and brain to take care of themselves while you sleep. Tonight is for remembering that you're stardust, briefly organized into human form, participating in the great cosmic story, playing your small but essential part. And right now, your part is to rest. So, rest, dear friend. Let the cosmic story continue without your conscious participation for a while. Let yourself be held by the same forces that hold planets in orbit and galaxies in spiral arms. Let yourself trust the universe that made you to sustain you through the night. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. Feel the darkness, welcoming and safe. Feel your body heavy and relaxed. Feel your breath slow and steady. And feel yourself drifting gently, inevitably, toward the rest you need and deserve. There's no need to fear this. It's natural. It's what happens to everything. And in a way, it means you never really end. You just change form. The energy that animates you returns to the universe. The matter that composes you returns to the earth. And the impact you had, the relationships you formed, the things you created, those ripple forward through time in ways you can't fully predict or understand. You are a wave in an ocean. The wave rises, moves across the water, and then subsides. But the water remains. It was there before the wave, and it will be there after. You are that wave right now, briefly distinct, briefly individual, but always part of the larger body of water that is the universe. Let yourself feel the ocean beneath you, holding you up. Let yourself feel the rhythm of the waves, rising and falling, like your breath, like your heartbeat. Let yourself rest in the knowledge that you're held, you're supported, you're part of something that knows how to sustain itself. The cosmic origins of life are also a story about time, about patience, about the slow unfolding of complexity. The universe didn't rush. It took hundreds of millions of years for the first stars to form. It took billions of years for those stars to create the elements necessary for life. It took hundreds of millions of years for those elements to gather into planets. It took hundreds of millions more for life to emerge on at least one of those planets. And then evolution proceeded slowly, patiently, exploring different possibilities, adapting to changing conditions, building complexity layer by layer, from single cells to multicellular organisms, from simple body plans to complex ecosystems, from instinct to learning to culture to consciousness. There was no deadline. There was no rush. The universe simply unfolded at its own pace, and life emerged when the conditions were right. And here we are, billions of years later, the product of that patient process. You can learn something from that patience, that lack of urgency. You don't have to rush. You don't have to force anything. You can let things unfold in their own time, at their own pace. You can trust the process, trust that things will develop as they're meant to, that complexity will emerge naturally when the conditions are right. Right now, the conditions are right for rest, for sleep, for letting go of the day and drifting into the restorative darkness. Your body knows how to do this. Your brain knows how to shut down the systems that keep you alert and activate the systems that repair and consolidate and dream. You don't have to. You just have to let it happen. You just have to stop resisting, stop trying to control everything, and allow your natural rhythms to take over. Feel how tired your body is, how heavy your limbs are, how soft your thoughts are becoming. This is natural. This is your body doing what it knows how to do, what it has evolved over millions of years to do. Rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's part of the cycle, like day and night, like the seasons, like the breath. The universe rests too, in a sense. After the intense activity of the Big Bang, the universe has been expanding and cooling, settling into a more relaxed state. Stars burn for billions of years, but then they fade and die, returning their matter to space. Galaxies collide and merge, but then they drift apart in the expanding cosmos. Everything has its period of activity and its period of rest. You're in your period of rest right now. Let yourself sink into it. Let yourself trust it. Your body will take care of you. It will repair cells, consolidate memories, process emotions, restore energy. All you have to do is let go and let it. Think about the first cells floating in the ancient ocean, powered by chemistry and sunlight. They didn't worry about the future. They didn't plan or scheme or stress. They simply existed, responding to their environment, taking in nutrients, releasing waste, dividing when conditions were right. They were present, fully present in each moment. You can be like that too. Not forever, but right now, in this moment of rest. You can let go of the future and the past and simply be here, in your body, in this bed, in this quiet darkness. You can let your awareness rest in the present moment, not analyzing or judging or planning, just experiencing the simple sensations of being alive, the feeling of the bed beneath you supporting your weight, the gentle rhythm of your breath flowing in and out, the soft darkness behind your closed eyelids, the faint sounds around you, distant and unimportant, the sensation of your body relaxing, releasing tension, settling into stillness. This is all there is right now, this simple moment. And it's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. The stardust that makes you is resting too. The atoms in your body are always in motion, vibrating, spinning, but they're not going anywhere. They're here with you, doing what they need to do to keep you alive. And as you rest, they can focus on repair and restoration, on building up the resources you'll need for tomorrow. But tomorrow is not now. Now is for rest. Now is for letting go. Now is for sleep. You might notice your thoughts are more dreamlike. That's good. That means you're at the edge of sleep, in that liminal space between waking and dreaming. Don't fight it. Let your thoughts drift and flow without trying to control them. Let images arise and fade without holding on to them. This is your mind beginning to dream, beginning to process the experiences of the day in its own mysterious way. Dreams are one of the ways your brain makes sense of things, consolidates memories, works through emotions, explores possibilities. You don't have to understand it. You just have to let it happen. The boundary between waking and sleeping, between conscious and unconscious, is not sharp. It's a gradual transition, a gentle fading, and you're in that transition now, drifting, floating, letting go. Imagine yourself as a leaf floating on a stream, carried along by the current. You don't have to swim or steer or do anything. The water carries you. The current knows where it's going. You can just rest on the surface and let yourself. Or imagine yourself as a cloud drifting across the sky, shapeless and free. You have no destination, no agenda. You just drift wherever the wind takes you, changing shape as you go, sometimes thick and full, sometimes thin and wispy, but always moving, always floating, always free. Or imagine yourself as a star, billions of years old, burning steadily in the darkness of space. You're not in a hurry. You have billions of years ahead of you. You can just be, glowing softly, warming any planets that might orbit you, existing in the vast quiet of the cosmos. Any of these images can help you let go, can help you drift toward sleep. Or maybe you have your own images, your own ways of imagining relaxation and release. Whatever works for you, let yourself use it. Let yourself be creative, playful, gentle with yourself. There's no wrong way to fall asleep. There's no test you have to pass. Your body knows what to do. Your brain knows what they've been doing this every night of your life since you were born. You can trust them. And even if sleep doesn't come right away, that's okay too. Just resting is valuable. Just lying here with your eyes closed, that's restorative. Your body is still benefiting, still repairing, still recovering. Sleep is ideal, but rest is good too. So let go of any pressure, any expectation that you should be asleep by now. It's fine to be awake. It's fine to be in this in-between state. It's all part of the process, all part of the cycle. The universe doesn't judge you for being awake. The stars don't care if you're sleeping or not. The atoms that make you are content to be wherever they are, doing whatever they're doing. They're not in a hurry. They've been around for billions of years. They can wait, and so can you. You can be patient with yourself. You can be kind to yourself. You can let yourself rest without demanding that it look a certain way or happen on a certain timeline. Just breathe. Just be. Just let yourself exist in this moment, exactly as you are, without needing to change anything or fix anything or improve anything. You are enough. You have always been enough. You are made of the same material as stars, forged in the same cosmic fires, animated by the same forces that have driven evolution for billions of years. You are a miracle of complexity and organization, a brief flowering of consciousness in a vast and ancient universe. And right now, that miracle needs to rest. So rest. Let yourself rest. Let the day fall away. Let your worries fade. Let your thoughts slow down and soften and eventually dissolve into dreams. The story of your cosmic origins has brought you to this moment. Billions of years of stellar alchemy, planetary formation, chemical evolution, biological evolution, all of it leading to you, here, now, resting. And the story will continue after you rest. Tomorrow, you'll wake up, the same stardust in a slightly different configuration, ready for another day. But tonight, you can let all of that go. You can let the story pause while you sleep. Your dreams might take you to strange places, show you impossible things, let you experience realities that don't exist. That's one of the gifts of consciousness, the ability to imagine, to dream, to explore inner spaces, as vast as the outer cosmos. Or maybe you won't dream or won't remember your dreams. That's fine too. The important thing is the rest, the restoration, the renewal that happens in sleep. Your brain will do what it needs to do, whether you're aware of it or not. So let yourself go now. Let yourself drift. Let the words fade into background noise, pleasant but not demanding your attention. Let your awareness turn inward or dissolve entirely. Let sleep come gently, naturally, in its own time. You are stardust, resting. You are the universe dreaming. You are billions of years old and yet brand new in this moment. You are connected to everything and yet utterly unique. You are temporary and yet part of something eternal. And right now, you are tired. Your body is tired. Your mind is tired. It's time to rest, to let go, to surrender to sleep. The stars are still burning in the night sky, the same stars that made you possible. The earth is still turning beneath you, the same earth that gave birth to life billions of years ago. The cycles continue, patient and eternal, and you can rest in the knowledge that you're part of those cycles, held by them, sustained by them. Sleep now. Let yourself sleep. Let the darkness embrace you. Let the quiet hold you. Let your breath slow and deepen and eventually fade from your awareness as you drift into the soft, healing darkness of you are safe. You are held. You are home. And you can rest now, knowing that when you wake, the universe will still be here, still unfolding, still beautiful, still mysterious. But for now, you can let it all go and simply slip. The story of the cosmic origins of life is your story. It's written in every atom of your being, in every cell, in every breath. You are the universe expressing itself, experiencing itself, resting itself. And as you rest, as you drift into sleep, the atoms that make you will continue their slow dance, vibrating and spinning, participating in the chemistry of life, keeping you warm and alive and safe while you dream. So rest now, dear friend. Rest deeply. Rest well. Let the ancient stardust that forms you settle into stillness. Let the cosmic story pause while you sleep. Let yourself be cradled by the universe that made you, held by the earth that sustains you, surrounded by the quiet darkness that invites you into dreams. Sleep now. Just sleep. Let everything else fade away. You've earned this rest. You deserve this peace. And the universe, patient and kind, will watch over you through the night, just as it has watched over the earth for billions of years, just as it watched over the first stars, the first planets, the first stirrings of life. You are part of that story. You are loved by it. You are held by it. And now you can rest in it, knowing that all is well, all has always been well, and all will continue to be well. Good night, dear friend. Sleep deeply, dream sweetly, and know that you are, and always will be, stardust returning home.